In the headlines, CBN orders immediate release of mopped-up old Naira notes to banks after Nigeria Labour Congress directs workers to picket CBN offices nationwide. INEC declares PDP's Peter Mba winner of Enugu governorship election. Federation Account Allocation Committee shares 722.7 billion naira February revenue to federal government, state and local governments. Now on the foreign scene, Ethiopia removes terrorist tag from Tigray Regional Party. Hello and welcome to News Update on Trust TV. I'm Sagir Ibrahim. Hello and welcome once again. The Central Bank of Nigeria has instructed commercial banks to immediately collect the old Naira notes they deposited in its branches to ease the cash crunch across the country. According to the directive, starting Thursday, the commercial banks are expected to arrive the banks to freely withdraw the old notes they kept at the Apex banks. This latest move and instruction from the Apex Bank comes hours after the Nigeria Labour Congress (NLC) directed all workers to picket all branch offices of the CBN nationwide starting next week over the current Naira scarcity in the country. Recall that the Apex Bank had mopped up the old 1,000, 500 and 200 Naira notes in response to the introduction of new ones as part of the cashless policy of the federal government. And also, the leadership of the Nigeria Labour Congress on Wednesday directed all workers to picket all the offices of the Central Bank of Nigeria nationwide starting from next week over the current cash crunch in the country. NLC President Joe Ajero, who gave the directive in Abuja, said the action became imperative following the expiration of the one-week ultimatum given to the Apex Bank to make cash available for Nigerians.
Consequently, the CWC in session resolved to go into the process of actualizing the one-week notice we gave. From this week, from Friday, there will be mobilization of all state councils through a NEC meeting. All unions have already been directed to mobilize all their organs and their branches by Wednesday next week. All central bank offices nationwide will be picketed. All central bank from the CBN headquarters will be shut till further notice. Workers are directed to stay at home and join in the picketing exercise.
And in politics, the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) has declared candidate of the People's Democratic Party (PDP) Peter Mba as the winner of Saturday's governorship election in Enugu State. Announcing the result, the returning officer, Professor Madue BBC Ofoiwe, said Mba polled 160,895 votes to defeat his closest challenger, Chijioke Edeoga of the Labour Party, who scored 157,552 votes. The Labour Party had expressed optimism of winning the Enugu election, which, like Abia, was marred in controversy. INEC had suspended collation in the state and summoned the key officials to Abuja. Earlier on Wednesday, the Commission had assured Nigerians that the final result would be declared within hours. Still in politics, Governor Bello Muhammad Matawalle of Zamfara State has conceded defeat in the just concluded governorship elections. In an audio message to the people of the state, Governor Matawalle said himself and all his supporters have submitted to the will of Almighty Allah as things happen only by his leave. He said when his administration came on board, he met with all major stakeholders in the state on how best they could restore lasting peace to the state through peace dialogue, adding that up till today, there is nothing more challenging than insecurity bedeviling the state. He said apart from the peace dialogue with armed bandits, he also worked hard to see that his administration brought different political factions into one platform so that peace and unity will reign in the state. The governor also was defeated by the candidate of the People's Democratic Party, Dauda Lawal Dare. And in Jigawa State, the PDP has rejected the outcome of the just concluded governorship elections, which led to the emergence of Umar Namadi Danmodia as winner. Addressing a press conference of the Jigawa State PDP, leaders and stakeholders on the outcome of the 2023 governorship and state assembly elections, former secretary to the state government Aminu Abdullahi Taura said the 2023 elections is one of the most challenging exercises in the history of Jigawa State. He said that for the first time, polls in the state have been dominated by several irregularities, ranging from violence, ballot box destruction, intentional shortage of electoral materials, among others. Others, according to Aminu Taura, includes overvoting, intimidation, inaction of security agencies, changing of results, and unprecedented vote buying, which violates the Electoral Act. The party expressed gratitude to their supporters in the state for their loyalty and dedication to the PDP throughout the trying period. And a few days after the re-election of Gombe State Governor Inuwa Yahya of the All Progressives Congress, Gombe residents are now setting the agenda for his second tenure. Ibrahim Ismail, who went round the state, reports that people identified job creation, health and commerce as critical areas that need urgent attention from the new administration. His report.
Governor Inuwa Yahya of the All Progressives Congress APC was first elected as the governor of Gombe State in 2019 elections and was re-elected in the recently conducted governorship election in the state. Following his re-election, the residents of Gombe have begun to present demands and set agenda for the second tenure of the governor's administration.
I want this government to support small businesses like us. This will improve the economy of the people. We need jobs and timely payment of workers' salary.
Kamar a yankina inda nake zanne, Auko local government, Wode Bridge.
In my area, Akko LGA, we need roads and hospital in Wuro Bridge and Bomala to enjoy dividend of democracy. We normally go to Pantami to access healthcare.
While some residents demand job creation, infrastructural development and boost of commercial activities, others want improvement of the security architecture as they call for an end to activities of political thugs known as Kalare Boys.
I want the governor to tackle the menace of Kalare Boys. They inflict injuries and snatch people's funds. They destroy businesses. We want this to be addressed. They should be given jobs or be tackled by security forces.
In his acceptance speech after the re-election, Governor Inuwa Yahya vowed to listen to the needs of the people and also run an inclusive government.
And no boundaries. If the ultimate objective of all political parties and constituencies is about the peace, progress, and development of our dear state, it behoves of all of them to support us in moving our dear state forward. On my part, I'm ready to work with all stakeholders in running all inclusive government for the benefit of our people.
Since 2003, Gombe State has been under the leadership of the People's Democratic Party PDP before the ruling All Progressives Congress APC clinched to power in 2019 and 2023. Ibrahim Ismail, Trust TV News, Gombe.
Still on the governorship elections, although the governorship and state assembly elections conducted on Saturday, 18th March have come and gone, the outcome of the poll has continued to dominate discourse among different groups. Jimmy Azande spoke to some Benue residents who commended the process and also pointed areas that need to be improved upon. His report.
The atmosphere in Benue State appears calm and with hope amid jubilation by supporters of the Yes Father movement across party lines. Most of the residents of Benue who responded said the outcome of the election was the choice of majority of Benue electorate who came out in large number to exercise their civic duty.
26, 27, 28, 20.
It actually reflected the wishes of people. Because prior to the election in Benue State, from the motor parks to the markets to the civil servants, you would hear them calling for a change from the PDP to the APC.
The election was so good. This is the ever good election I've seen since I was born in this country. The election was peaceful, even though some people tried to disrupt some places, but the security were able to take control.
The electoral umpire, INEC, is given a pat on the back by Benue residents. They said it was an improvement for the presidential and national assembly elections.
A very fascinating scene to behold on that election day. The enthusiasm, the way the people took out to vote, it shows that they had assurance in the process of INEC and believing that their vote counts. Before now, people hardly turn up for voting, and at the end, they never feel owning the system.
If you look at the situation before even the election, it was so clear, and I can categorically say that yes, this is a reflection of what the people want. So the election was okay. It was a good contest and the best man.
The residents are optimistic that the process is gaining confidence of more Nigerians who hitherto generated voter apathy.
I like it better than presidential election, but of course there is still room for improvement. You know, the issues of violence, the issue of snatching of ballot boxes that we recorded in a few places. But generally, it was a good performance, and for me, as a scientist, political scientist, I'm not surprised that Reverend Father Alia of the APC is governor-elect.
Reverend Father Hyacinth Alia of the APC was declared winner and returned elected as the 6th civilian governor of the state. This is the second time a Catholic priest will occupy the government house in Benue State. The first was Reverend Father Moses Adasu, who was elected governor, an administration that was short-lived, though with massive monumental projects.
And the All Progressives Congress in Adamawa State has suspended the secretary to the government of the Federation, Boss Mustapha, for losing his polling unit to the People's Democratic Party at the presidential and governorship polls. Announcing the suspension at a press conference in Yola, chairman of Gwadabawa Ward said Mustapha was not committed to APC's victory at the presidential election. The party disclosed that the SGF did not contribute to the victory of its presidential and governorship candidates. He stated that the indefinite suspension followed complaints from his ward, adding that no individual could be above the party that gave them the platform. But in a sudden twist to the announcement of the indefinite suspension slammed on the SGF, the State Working Committee of the party under the leadership of the acting chairman, Chief Sumaila Tadaus, declared the announcement as unconstitutional, null and void, and of no effect. The Adamawa State APC State Working Committee also directed the Local Government Executive Committee of Yola North to constitute a disciplinary committee to immediately investigate and recommend appropriate action. And also, the Federal Executive Council has approved the contract for the construction of barracks accommodation for personnel of the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency as part of security measures to protect them from consistent harassment and threat to life by perpetrators of drug crimes. Attorney General of the Federation, Abubakar Malami, who briefed newsmen at the State House Abuja on Wednesday, said operations of the NDLEA has resulted in 2,904 convictions in 2022 alone. The approval came on a day the Cabinet approved the review of the 2022 National Agricultural Seed Policy with the aim of providing Nigerian farmers easy access to quality seeds that can compete in the world market. Kende Amodu reports.
The federal government is impressed with the performance of the NDLEA in recent years and is also concerned with the dangers operatives have been exposed to because of the nature of their work. As a reward for a job well done, the Federal Executive Council approves an award of contract for the construction of barracks accommodation for personnel of the agency.
There has been renewed and sustained onslaught against drug cartels and barons over time. Within the 3 quarters of 2023, about 18,940 arrests were effected by the NDLEA, and indeed, drugs, the estimated value of which is over 40 billion naira, were confiscated.
Council of Ministers is also approving the review of the 2022 National Agricultural Seed Policy with the aim of providing Nigerian farmers easy access to quality seeds that can compete in the world market. Minister of Agriculture Muhammad Abubakar says that with the emerging global technology in seed production, the agriculture sector will be accorded greater priority so as to sustain national food security.
Now, incidentally, in the ministry we have several institutions that are involved in research for standardization of seeds, our own agencies, and we depend on those more than any. We regulate even bringing in modified seed, genetically modified from outside the country. How much of it is brought, even if it's going to be subjected to the rigors of investigation.
Meanwhile, the Ministry of Transportation has sought and obtained approval of Council for provisions of 4 customized fire service search and rescue vans for the seaports in Port Harcourt and Tinkan Island and the Marina National Ports Authority headquarters in Lagos at the sum of 510.9 million naira. The Council of Ministers also approved the contract for the procurement of rolling stock operations and maintenance equipment for the Kano-Maradi standard gauge rail line that is currently under construction at a contract sum of $984.7 million. From State House Abuja, Kehinde Amodu, Trust TV News.
You're watching News Update on Trust TV. Coming up after the break, we'll tell you how cash crunch affects Ramadan fast preparations. Do stay with us.
Are you a creative, a videographer, producer, or content creator? Trust TV is calling for entries for a short documentary and skit competition. To qualify for this entry, send your short documentary or skit of not more than 5 minutes on health or any social-related issues to creatives@trusttv.com. Using this format, title, duration, first name, phone number, and a summary of the production of not more than 1 paragraph. Winners will be engaged for production for Trust TV, and prizes will be won by the overall winner and the first and second runner-up. Opens from 19th March 2023 to 31st March 2023.
Welcome back. If you're just joining, you're watching News Update on Trust TV. Here's a recap of our top stories. CBN orders immediate release of mopped-up old notes to banks after Nigeria Labour Congress directs workers to picket CBN offices nationwide. Also, INEC declares PDP's Peter Mba winner of Enugu governorship polls. Moving on to other stories, the Federation Account Allocation Committee, FAC, has shared 722.677 billion naira February 2023 Federation account revenue to the federal government, state and local government councils. According to a communique by Director of Press and Public Relations Bawa Mokwa in February 2023, the total deductions for cost of collection was 27,449 million, and total deductions for transfers, savings, recoveries and refunds was pegged at 109.909 billion. The communique confirmed that from the total distributable revenue of 722.677 billion naira, the federal government received 269.063 billion naira, the state governments received 236.464 billion naira, and the local government councils received 173.936 billion naira. A total sum of 43.214 billion naira was shared to the relevant state as 13% derivation revenue. And also, President Muhammadu Buhari has said the activities of traders who artificially increase the prices of their goods is against the spirit of the Ramadan. The president said this on Wednesday when he sent greetings and best wishes to Muslims marking the commencement of the Ramadan fasting. President Buhari, in a statement by his media aide, Malam Garba Shehu, called on Muslims to use the period of Ramadan to put the best teachings of Islam into practice, such as kindness and the love of humanity. According to the president, the holy month is for deep reflection and greater fear of Allah and avoidance of all evils that harm humanity. And also, the scarcity of old Naira notes still lingers. The scarcity of Naira notes, still lingers in Katsina as Ramadan fast begin and many Nigerians spend hours on ATM machines without getting cash. Low-income earners in Katsina want government to intervene as President Muhammadu Buhari assures that the currency scarcity is a temporary measure. Abdullahi Yamadi completes the report.
Malam Garba Shehu, while admitting that the presidency is fully aware of the difficulties being faced by Nigerians in accessing Naira notes, gave assurances that banknotes will be made available immediately after the general elections. He, however, shifted the blame on some politicians and commercial banks who are mostly holding the currency for their selfish interest only to make life unbearable to the citizens.
Gwamnatin tarayya kar ka manta ba ta da banki fa, in ban da central bank ba ta da banki ko daya, da a hannun yan kasuwa yake.
Let me remind Nigerians that the federal government had only one bank, the central bank, and it has been making monies available to all commercial banks. People should be asking commercial banks about the alleged diversion and hoarding of cash. As a government, we have done our best.
Kudin nan sakin sa ake, daga an sake su sai su bace.
To most of these residents, the cash scarcity should end while they struggle to have some basic necessities ahead of 30 days Ramadan fast.
Actually, I'm here at the bank since early morning. And finally, I didn't get the money. At the end, they tell me that the money has already finished. So there's no money at the ATM right now. Since I think a week ago, they did not put any money at the ATM card.
3 days, 2 days, more than that, you will suffer. See us here since morning. Before you enter to just lay the complaint. So we don't know what is happening. Please and please, we need your assist to send our message to our leaders.
High cost of food items coupled with fuel shortage and the scarcity of Naira will make this year's Ramadan fast the most difficult in recent times.
Though the Ramadan is approaching, but the prices of commodities are still normal. I don't know whether they are going to decrease because of this cash crunch. So commodities are still normal, and some of them, if you go to buy, the way they do is that some of them don't have access for transfer or this in POS. So if they go to another person to do it, they will add money for you. That is the only increase I'm experiencing, because now I bought maize.
Well, like we have two types of soil here, cooking oil here, one palm oil and the vegetable oil, ground soil. Some of them increase a little bit. Some increase, like a vegetable oil now will increase. Like some weeks back, we sell the jerrycan 25 liters at rate of 32. Now we start 3,000.
Nigerians hope to see the return of the old days when banknotes were available to buy food, stuff, and fuel, even at higher prices. Abdullahi Ismail, Trust Television News, Katsina.
And the Nigerian Communications Commission, NCC, says it will arrest and prosecute anyone involved in the sale of used SIM cards. In a statement on Wednesday, NCC's Director of Public Affairs, Ruben Moka, said the resolution was in line with the Nigerian Communications Act. Moka said the Commission regularly undertakes monitoring and enforcement to ensure that all stakeholders comply with the extant laws, regulations and directives as they apply to the telecoms governance in Nigeria. And on the foreign scenes, Ethiopia's parliament on Wednesday removed the dominant party in the Tigray region from a list of terrorist organizations, a significant step towards ensuring an interim regional government following the end of a 2-year civil war. The Tigray People's Liberation Front, TPLF, which led the northern region into war with the federal government in late 2020, was designated a terrorist group in May 2021. The parliament approved the decision to lift the TPLF's terrorist designation with a majority vote. The move, supported by most of the country's politicians, will strengthen the November 2022 peace deal between the TPLF and the federal government, it said. The deal ended the conflict in which tens of thousands of people were killed and millions were forced from their homes. The delisting is a prerequisite to the TPLF's participation in an interim regional government, which the party nominated its spokesman, Getachew Reda, last week to lead. Getachew did not immediately respond to a request for comment on Wednesday. And with that, we've come to the end of News Update at this hour. Do well to follow us across all our media platforms. I'm Sakir Ibrahim. Thanks for watching.